I don't know how they got us at Sanford. I ain't gonna cap.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got us at Sanford, but
Coach Sullivan got all us at Sanford.
Yeah.
And then Coach Shade, too. I transferred in, so that was a big reason, too. I wanted to play immediately. I knew Sanford would let me play, get on the field immediately, so that was one of the reasons.
Yeah, because you started at Arkansas State, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why going there?
It was the biggest school, like the biggest offer I had. It was either there or UAB. Those are my top two schools. But from what I heard, like Coach Applin told me not to go to UAB because, unfortunately, he had hindsight, so he knew like at some point like it wasn't gonna work there. And of course, they had crashed at like 2013, 2014. The program went under, so it was kind of a blessing that I didn't go there initially.
That's kind of crazy, but shoot, I guess we do need to start.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue what I'm saying.
Shoot, welcome to Stuck in My Thoughts, man. Appreciate you being on. It's been a minute trying to get you on, man. It's been like a year, but I appreciate you taking the time to get on. To all the people watching, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We want to get those ratings up. But shoot, we're here with James Bradberry, man, Philadelphia Eagles cornerback, and Sanford alum, bro. That's the thing we got in common. We were just talking about. Talk about your time at Sanford. You know, you kind of flew under the radar, like you were saying. You had those two choices between UAB, Arkansas State, coming out a 2-star recruit. Talk about that process, coming, a low ranking type guy.
Yeah, so I wasn't highly recruited. So that in itself, I didn't really foresee myself playing in the NFL at the time. Mm-hmm. So when I was choosing schools, I was really just going with a school that I felt like I could get a degree and also enjoy the school. So that's why I initially went with Arkansas State. It was a bigger school. I felt like it fit my personality more. The people that I was on my recruiting trip with, I was cool with those guys. So I ended up going there, but they had me at safety. And I didn't really want to play safety. They told me I was going to play safety. But I figured I was going to go up there, showcase my skills, and they might move me to corner. But that didn't work out, so I ended up transferring to Sanford. And Sanford was cool. It was a unique experience. Yeah. It was a little different than what I was used to. But I think I met a lot of good guys there, especially on the football team, and I still have those relationships to this day. And that's what I most appreciate about being at Sanford.
Yeah, that's what's up. And you go from 2-star recruit to second-round draft pick and go into the Carolina Panthers. What do you think about rankings in general? Like, do they matter? You know how you see the guys that they're 5 stars coming out, they may not do anything. And then you got the guys that are like 0 stars or 2 stars like yourself, and they're balling in the league. So what is your thought process on rankings?
I think it's all about your process. Everybody's different. Of course, there's a lot of 5-star guys that go on to these bigger schools. But going to a bigger school and being a 5-star guy, now that I'm in the league, I see like a lot of those guys come into the league that beat up because they played these bigger schools. And really, when you play at Alabama or Auburn, you're really playing at not really an NFL team, but like you having to go through the same struggles because they're putting you through the ringer in practice. Every game is like the best players out there. So y'all are really, it's a violent sport. So those are some of the biggest guys in college football. So you're putting your body through a lot. But being at Sanford, of course the competition was high at times, and but the linemen weren't as big as they were when I got into the league, and I think the speed of the game and also the size of the players was like a big difference because I didn't really go against like a Julio Jones every week when I was in college. But when I got into the league, I was going against Julio Jones, Mike Evans, Michael Thomas, some of the best receivers in the league and some of the best receivers when they were in college. So it was definitely different.
Yeah, that's for sure. So the last year for you has kind of been a whirlwind. Like, and you look at it from a retrospective, in May of last year, you got released by the Giants. Then shortly after, you get picked up by my team, the Eagles. I love the Eagles. I like themselves like 11. You get picked up by the Eagles, and then the rest is history, man. You have a career season, go to the Super Bowl. You're on the best team in the NFC. Talk about going from that process, that experience of getting released by a team to being in the Super Bowl competing.
So my 2 years with the Giants, I really enjoyed it. But I kind of foresaw myself getting released, like going into my second year, and then the way the season started and the way, because we had a lot of injuries. Yeah. And I think people don't realize, like, in order for you to like make it to the playoffs and also be able to compete for the Super Bowl, you got to have a healthy team. And that's one thing we did with the Eagles. We had a healthy team. Nobody really got injured. But when I was with the Giants, we was getting injuries left and right, and it was a lot of times our main players. And I feel like that was one of the reasons why we didn't do so well. And I knew my third year wasn't guaranteed. And I knew a lot of money. I had restructured my deal to where my money had got moved to the third year. So I kind of foresaw myself either being traded or released, which was the case. They couldn't trade me. Well, they could, but it didn't go through. Yeah. So I knew they was going to end up releasing me at some point. And it really sucked. I was kind of, at the time, I kind of foresaw it coming, so I kind of like prepared myself for the situation. But when it happened, it definitely sucked because you never want to be released or like be fired. And they actually send you a letter in the offseason to kind of tell you like why you're getting fired.
Oh, damn.
They got like little boxes on there, and one of them was checked that, I think it was like my skill was like no longer good enough to be like on the team or whatever.
I thought they said it was money.
I mean, it is money at the end of the day, but they don't have that on the boxes on the sheet that they send you, because they send you a sheet, and it's kind of like a sheet that's already been put together, and it has different like injuries. You got I think it was skill, cap or whatever, and that was my box that was checked on there.
That's crazy.
And of course, when I saw it, I was kind of pissed or whatever. But at that point, I was kind of just waiting around. There was a lot of anxiety. I was very anxious, but I was glad the Philadelphia Eagles came through and picked me up because I saw the team that they had. I knew it was promising. And then at the point when I was on the team, A.J. Brown came to the team. So then, the pieces was coming together. And then we just kind of we just gelled very well together throughout the season and also in the beginning. And it was kind of just a recipe for success. Shout out to the D-line because, they definitely aided in my they definitely aided in my success throughout the season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So being on the professional side, like you said, it's a job. NFL is a job. It's not just sport entertainment. Like, this is your profession. When you're with the guys in the locker room, is it like a good camaraderie, or is it just like, I'm professional, I'm here to do what I do? Like, how do you interact? It's not like, is it like high school, like you close like that, or is it just, I'm here for business and, we're going to get this win, but like off the field, it's kind of like, I just do this?
It's definitely not like high school. But I would say it's a little bit of both. Of course, you gel with certain guys more than others, and you start to build, deeper relationships with some guys because y'all just connect on a different level. Of course, it's usually like your DBs that you hang out with. Mm-hmm. That's who you spend your most time with in the meeting rooms, also in your workouts and stuff. And y'all also like communicating back and forth trying to prepare for the game. So you start getting closer to certain guys in the room, and I would say that's kind of comparable to high school. But at the same time, it's a job. And fortunately, we won a lot.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was in Carolina, like guys at the beginning, like we didn't win a whole lot. So guys were getting like cut and released left and right. So that was the sad part about it, and that was the business part where that opened my eyes to the whole process. But with the Eagles, it was pretty cool. We gelled. We were winning. Guys were having fun.
Oh, yeah.
So it worked. It was kind of like high school at the same time.
It was rocking on Twitter. We was right behind you. I was lit. Yes, sir. So talk about, you just mentioned, you're a Birmingham native, Pleasant Grove, small town kid going to play in the Super Bowl. Talk about that experience in itself. That's every football player's dream, whether you win or lose. What was that experience like for you?
It was kind of overrated. Of course, I enjoyed being in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I was appreciative of it. And that's what I worked my whole career, to go to the Super Bowl. And I thought about it as a kid, being in my grandmother's front yard, playing for the biggest game of my life. But it was really overrated because they flew us out there. We was out there for a week. And it really kind of messes up your routine. And I'm a routine guy.
Yeah.
I like to keep the same routine throughout each week. And that kind of helps me prepare for the season. prepare for that game on Sunday. So it's kind of overrated. But at the same time, it was a memory that I'm always cherish. Of course, we lost, so I'm not gonna cherish that part. Yeah. But of course, we got another opportunity to get back at it next year. Hopefully, we can do that.
Sure do.
Sure do.
All right, man. You know how it is in sports. Things happen, and you can't change them, but things happen. You mentioned that you guys came up short. It was heartbreaking for me. Obviously, I'm not playing, so it's a little different experience for you. But we got to talk about the last call. Mm-hmm. The hold on Juju Smith-Schuster. Very controversial. Just the way the game was going, you kind of look at the refs and kind of be like, okay, you weren't calling this the entire game, but they decided to call in that. Talk about not the play itself, but after the fact, you being able to take the accountability to say, hey, that was a hold. Things happened. You don't want to put in the refs' hands, but it was a hold. Talk about, taking that accountability and ownership on your part.
From the time I started playing football, I've always been taught, don't let the game fall into the refs' hands. And also, the games are being filmed, so when the play was committed or the foul was committed, and then the flag was threw out there, the first thing I did was look at the jumbotron, and then I saw that I tugged on his jersey. Now, of course, it's a ticky-tacky foul. You didn't really have to call it, given the circumstance and the situation and where the foul was committed. But at the end of the day, he threw the flag, and it was up to the discretion of the ref to call that. Of course, I didn't want him to call it.
Yeah,
and I don't think he should have called it, but he did at the end of the day, and. I can't go back and change that, so I just went ahead and got ahead of it before it got worse with the media and stuff.
What are the guys on the field saying at that point in time in the game? Are there people on the Chiefs side talking, or is people on the Eagles side talking? What is the dialogue out there on the field? Because you know what the fans are saying. But what are y'all saying out there?
It wasn't really a whole lot of dialogue, to be honest with you, because I think as a defense, I think we knew. From my perspective, I feel like we all knew that we could have made more plays before that actual play.
Yeah.
And the game never comes down to that one play, and that's how we're experienced veterans on that defense, and we all knew that. And it was more plays before that we should have made that we let go from us, and I think we all individually had one play that we wish we could have had back.
Yeah. That
game, and I think that was kind of the situation and how we felt at the end of the day.
Yeah, because from my perspective, I was always curious, like, man, how'd the guys handle in the locker room after that moment? And what made me think about that was the Bengals. When they lost and that guy knocked them out of bounds, Pat Mahomes out of bounds, they threw the flag, and then they got the field goal. When they were going to the locker room, you heard that guy was like, why you push him out of bounds? Like, I feel like that's why they weren't there. And you talk about the gelling of your team, and it's kind of apparent not just, behind the scenes, but, out in the public on Twitter when Juju was making that tweet and then you had your teammates backing you up. What do you think about the tweet? Like, from a professional perspective, and also, like, you're a person, like, obviously y'all had a game, you lost a game, and then they, talking on Twitter.
Well, I would say, first of all, my daughter's birthday is on Valentine's Day. So he slick kind of ruined my Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Because he sent that out on that day. And but I mean, it is what it is. I can't control what another guy does. At the end of the day, that's his Twitter. I don't think he really made that postcard. I think somebody else made it, but he just ended up retweeting it. But I can't really control what somebody else does. I can't control what somebody else does. So that's how I looked at it. I just kind of threw my phone on the bed, and I didn't even look at it the rest of the day.
You ready for when y'all play the Patriots?
Man, I'm looking forward to every game we play next year.
Okay.
And I really when I approach a game, I don't look at it as an individual battle. I'm facing the whole team. I'm facing the offensive coordinator. I'm facing the quarterback, and also the receivers. So I don't really get into that one-on-one matchup stuff.
That's what's up. But nonetheless, you are a role model out in the world. We were at that camp yesterday, and we have tons of kids who look up to you. You have millions of kids around the world who look up to you. I only ask this question for an advice perspective, especially for the people who experience negativity. You saw that Deebo Samuel was talking noise and made the trash comment. How do you look at negativity when people are bringing it to you, and how might somebody else be able to deal with that out in the real world when they experience negativity?
I try to use it as motivation. That's like whenever I get up in the morning, I don't feel like working out. I don't feel like doing something that's related to me playing football. I just think about the doubters, the media people that might be saying something, players that might be saying something, the ranking listens that I don't really agree with or I don't like. I just try to use it as motivation to go out there and try to get better.
That's what's up. So we talked about how you got your dream in the NFL, and with being in the NFL, everybody knows it comes with a nice paycheck. And you just signed a new deal. You're making millions of dollars. Talk about the importance of being, having financial literacy and being smart with your money.
It's definitely important to be financially literate. And it's also important to have people around you that kind of help you make decisions. Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm still a 29-year-old that has millions, and it's not a lot of 29-year-olds that make millions. Yeah. So I'll try to make sure I put the good people around me that's going to help me make decisions with my money, and also try to look out for my best interest. And I think that's the most important thing, too.
You talk about having good people around you. How do you filter out people who may come at you for the wrong motives? You don't want to bring everybody in, especially they know and they're seeing your contract. He's making millions. How do you filter out to make sure people come into your life for the right reasons?
Some of it is like based off of referral base, and a lot of it is just based off the relationship that I have with that person, like how we gel. And I feel like I can kind of tell, like, if people are just out here for me, either they like me for James Bradberry or they like me for the James Bradberry. I feel like there's a difference, and you kind of get a feel for that just based off how they treat you, and just how they treat you for the most part.
We talked about this before. You hit a point in your career where you started to separate yourself. You started to hit a new level, and sometimes the people you started with aren't always the people you end with. Have you ever had where, as you're moving up in the ranks, you gotta, let people go and cut off people? And how do you go about that? Because it's hard for some people to, let go of their friend they didn't have their whole life.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily say I cut people off. I would just say that I might distance myself from certain people. They're still my friends at the end of the day, because definitely, you're my friend at some point, so obviously I still care about you, I still love you. But at the time, sometimes I can't really always be around you, and I don't have the time to necessarily be around you. I got a family now, and also I'm trying to do things with my life to kind of take advantage of where I'm at now. So I wouldn't necessarily say I cut people off, but I might distance myself from people that may not necessarily be on the same trajectory as me or like helping me to get to where I'm trying to be.
Yeah, I think that's good to hear because I know for me personally, as I'm moving up, going through college, about to end college, going into the career space, like you said, at some point y'all were friends, so there's some type of mutual connection. But having to understand, I think I heard this quote by T.I. It was like, the trees don't look at the grass, even though they started from the same place. And understanding, like, as you elevate, it's okay, but sometimes you have to grow and people may stay there. Not a thing where, you get into Hollywood, get into big time, but, things change and people change. So I think that's important.
For sure. And if you got good friends around you, they start to understand, like, where you at. Mm-hmm. And they're more understanding of, like, what you going on. And I feel like that's important on their sides, too. So it's got to be a mutual understanding.
Yeah, I think that's important. So we talked about you on the field. Let's talk about a little bit you off the field. And I'm not a jealous person, but I ain't gonna lie. I got jealous about this one. And it's not, that you're in the NFL, played in the Super Bowl. It's the fact of you getting the HOKA deal, dude. Like, everybody, as a track runner myself, I'm like, man, my dream is to be the first high jumper to get the HOKA deal because it's usually known for distance or the, people that leisure around and, want comfort style shoes. How does that deal come about? Like, how did you even get into the space of HOKA and being their ambassador?
So my agency brought the deal to me, of course, after we had that great season with the Eagles and whatnot. But I started wearing HOKA, I think my first year in New York with the Giants. Mm-hmm. And at the time, they didn't really have a whole lot of colorways. I think I had an all-black pair.
Yeah.
So you really, like, if you look at them, you really couldn't tell they were HOKA because you couldn't see the symbol. And, like, really, no one around the league was really wearing HOKA like that. Yeah. But they was a shoe for me because it was comfortable. I had turf toe early on. So, of course, turf toe started leading to other things like with your ankles and calf muscles and stuff like that. So they were good for me when I would be around the facility, like working out or just, like, doing walkthrough.
Yeah.
And people would give me a lot of crap about it, to be honest with you. But over the years, like as I got to the Eagles, I started wearing them more and I started having more colorways and more people started wearing them. And of course, we just had a great season. So I think they just decided to put me on because I was already wearing them and whatnot.
That's what's up. I saw it on Instagram. I was like, I sent it to my friends and me. I was like, no way. I was like, this is, out of all the deals, I was like, this is a great deal. I like the video they put together too. And I was like, I don't feel, how you see some people, they represent a business or a drink or anything like that. And you're like, okay, do they really drink that? Do they really do that? I was like, bro, people actually wear HOKAs. Like, I guarantee you he's wearing HOKAs for real. So, yeah, I applaud you for that deal, bro.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I was wearing them all the time.
Yeah.
I was wearing them all the time.
Off the field, people see you as like this, here, especially like the kids in the world that are aspiring to play football, aspiring to be a cornerback. But you do stuff off the field. Talk about like your interests off the field more than just being a football athlete, NFL star.
Well, recently I got into golfing. Yeah. And honestly, I'm just trying a whole bunch of stuff, just trying to see what sticks and what I actually like and enjoy doing. I'm actually enjoyed playing golf because I feel like it's a patience game, and it's also you versus you. And it's a great feeling once you actually start connecting with the ball and start hitting it, especially far, and you're actually pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And I got into fashion a little bit too. I think I got into fashion when I was with the Giants, just being around New York and being around the fashion scene. And then I also linked up with my friend Johnny Martin. He's definitely been helping me out with my fashion stuff. So, fashion, food.
Is that the photographer, Gianni?
Yeah,
okay,
my dog.
Yeah.
So I linked up with him, and I started doing more stuff on social media just to take advantage of what I got going on. And he's really been pushing me to like be more fashion forward.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. And I love food, so I love going to different restaurants and trying food as well.
Gotta eat.
I eat every day.
Yeah.
That's part of the business.
Yes, sir. On your Instagram, I was curious about this. How come you don't put captions all the time? Like, you're known for not putting captions. Usually people trying to come with the creative stuff. It's like, I post this is the statement.
I'm known for like not really saying a whole lot. I'm known for being a man of few words. So sometimes I don't have captions for a picture. Yeah. I know a lot of people try to put like cool captions from like rap lyrics and stuff. I mean, like rap songs and stuff. I'm not that type of guy because I don't really like quoting stuff from rap lyrics. Sometimes I agree with it, sometimes I don't. Yeah. But it don't always fit my personality. So that's why I feel like no caption kind of fits my personality than actually putting a caption.
I'll say silence speak volumes. I like that. All right, man. I've wondered this question. You've been at all three levels: high school, college, professional, and you always hear there's nothing like Friday Night Lights. And then college is great, but then NFL is a dream. What is your favorite level of football?
I would say my favorite is high school. They all have different, they all have pros. Of course, college, Honestly, high school. I could skip over college. College was cool, but
Yeah.
high school and the NFL, because NFL is your dream. But high school was like really cool, just because y'all are out there. Y'all grew, because a lot of those guys you grew up together, and like you said, it's Friday Night Lights. You playing at nighttime all the time, and usually we had a packed stadium at Pleasant Grove because it was actually pretty good my last year.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay. All right, you mentioned some of these guys earlier, but who are the top 5 receivers you ever had to go up against?
I would say Julio Jones, Mike Evans. Hopkins is really good. DeAndre Hopkins. Tyreek Hill, really, really fast. I haven't had a lot of snaps against Justin Jefferson, but the few snaps I did have against him, he was moving pretty fast. He's a good route runner as well. So I would say those 5 guys.
That's what's up. You see Tyreek Hill go out there and try to run in the USATF thing. He runs like a 6'7". Obviously, there's way more guys faster than down on the track. But talk about like that speed on the field. Like, how is that so different? Like his elusiveness. 'Cause I hear about it. Obviously, I've never guarded him.
It's just hard to play against him, especially when he's linked up with a good quarterback. Like Patrick Mahomes could throw it 50, 60, 70 yards. So when you have a guy that could just run past you, even if you off the ball 10 yards, he's going to still run past you. To have an accurate quarterback with that, it's kind of hard to beat because they always say great offense is going to beat great defense. Just because the accurate quarterback is going to put it where it needs to be.
That's what's up. I feel you. All right, man. So the name of the show is Stuck in My Thoughts, and I've been asking all my guests this lately. James Bradberry, the NFL player, and James Bradberry, the person. What do you get stuck in your thoughts about?
I get stuck in my thoughts, I would say, one, about like mistakes that I made in the past, and secondly, about what I'm going to do after football. Those are the 2 things that I think about often. But that's why I'm just out here trying stuff. And I'm also that's why I feel like you got to just keep pushing and keep trying new things, because that'll motivate you to first get over things that you like messed up in the past and try to make more memories and try to do things better and leave a legacy or whatnot. And also you'll figure out what you want to do, like what your purpose is.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people think about their past and it's hard for them to see their future. What advice would you give out to the people who may be still stuck in their past or struggling with, mistakes that they had made?
I think it happens to the best of us, but you just can't dwell on it. You got to move past it. And that's easier said than done. But like I said, I tell people all the time, especially like football players that are coming toward the end of their road, whether they're in college or high school or even in the league, I would say find a hobby. Find a hobby.
Once I get this knee recovered, I got to hit the links, bro. I got to start practicing some golf or doing something. Because I went Top Golf, and I'm not the best at it, so I don't want to go out there and embarrass myself. Did you just jump in?
Oh, I just jumped in. Okay. I'm still embarrassing myself, honestly, but I'm getting better.
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks ago was when I finally started really consistently hitting the ball. But before then, I would swing and I would miss sometimes, and it was embarrassing. But I mean, it's part of like playing football. I mean, you're gonna make mistakes. Some moments gonna be embarrassing, but you still gonna line up and play again.
That's what's up. That's like life.
Yeah,
you swing and miss, but you keep going.
You gotta keep going.
James Bradberry motivation. I like it.
Yes,
I like it. But James, look, man, I appreciate you being on the show. It's evident that, you're a great character guy, obviously great on the football field, but great person. We like to bring those type of guests on the show. We appreciate your time. And for all y'all watching, go ahead and subscribe. Follow James, follow us. And we up for more episodes, man. We keeping them coming. We out of here.